Hi, welcome to our video. Your teacher will be watching us with you and at some points will suggest you stop and do an activity. We've provided some worksheets for your teacher to share with you and they can give you support if you need it.
Before we get on to the first fun activity, we wanted to introduce ourselves. Our names are Kate Patterson,
Sarah Warren
and Steve Arthur Wallace.
We work for the mental health support team and we work in schools and in the community to support children with their well-being.
In this video, we hope to be learning about how amazing our bodies are and some things we can do to appreciate how amazing they are.
What do we mean by body image and the appearance ideal?
How we can challenge negative thoughts or unkind comments about our bodies.
And how we can support and look after ourselves and others to feel positive about our bodies. So, before we think about how amazing our bodies are, the first thing we would like you to do is think about this question. If your body could do anything, what would it do? You could think about this as a superpower, or if an alien came to Earth, what amazing things might they be able to do that we humans cannot? We encourage you to get as wacky and creative as you like with this task. For this task, we suggest you get into pairs or small groups, and everybody in the group should try to come up with a superpower or special skill that they would like to have. Now, hopefully, you will all be able to think about different ones. You might think about something like being able to talk to animals. Now, write down what everyone in the group would like as their superpower or skill. Then think about what feature you could draw to show this superpower. What would your body look like or need to be able to do in order to have this superpower or special skill? So, for example, if it was to talk to birds, maybe you could draw a beak. Or if I was able to talk to fish, maybe I'd have special ears or like gills to go underwater. Please feel free to pause now while you do this activity.
If you pause the video, welcome back. We wonder what was important to you when you designed your alien or chose your superpower. When we did this exercise, we noticed that the way our aliens looked might be quite different from a human. In order for us to show special skills or superpowers, we had to add extra eyes or hands or a really big brain. This is a picture of how our alien might look. The superpowers we had were being able to be super quick, so we added cheetah legs to help us speed along. Being able to get things from another room without getting up, so we needed extra stretchy spaghetti arms to reach around corners and upstairs. Being able to read people's minds. We thought we might need an extra large brain to access this power, or perhaps an extra eye that can see into people's thoughts. Being able to fly. For this, we needed a set of big wings to carry us through the sky. What we noticed was that the things the alien or superpower body could do were more important than what it looked like. You can always draw your superhero or alien at some point too.
So, let's think about what our bodies can do. It's great to think about superpowers we would like, but we can already do some amazing things when we think about it. What ideas can you think of? You might like to take a couple of minutes to share ideas as a class about all the things that our bodies can do, or list some of your ideas down. Here are some questions that may help you think about this, and they're on the screen. It may be helpful to think about what you've already done today, from when you woke up to now, and what your body has had to be able to do to get you here. This can be a good place to pause the video while you complete the section on the worksheet.
So, maybe like move from place to place. This might be through running, walking, hopping, skipping, crawling, wheeling ourselves, shuffling on our bum, or even cartwheels.
Communicate with each other. This could be by talking, singing, shouting, screaming, using signals such as waving or winking or smiling, using gestures such as hugs, linking arms, and holding hands.
Sleeping and staying awake.
Eating and digesting our food, being able to taste things and smell delicious things.
Learning. All the things our brain does to help us learn, like interpreting information, remembering facts, developing and working with new ideas.
Helping us to get better when we're ill, or repairing itself when we get a cut or a bruise.
I wonder if you came up with any of these, or perhaps some extra ones. For many of these things, we don't usually even think about them, like breathing or digesting our food, or our heart beating. It's also important for us to recognise that everyone is a bit different, and although we can do similar things, we may do them differently. Our brains might approach tasks or problems in different ways. Our bodies and brains may need help with some things, but find other things easier. Some people like to be surrounded by lots of people, and some people like to have a few friends. All of that is okay. The important point is that just by being alive, our body is doing amazing things. If we were to meet our aliens or superheroes from our earlier activity, they might be quite amazed by all the things that our bodies can do.
Now we're moving on to the next part of the video where we're going to talk about body image. When we're talking about body image, we mean the feelings and thoughts we have about our bodies. Some of you may find this bit worrying or upsetting to talk about, so please talk to your teacher afterwards if you need to. We're talking about this today because some studies have asked children and young people how they feel about their bodies, and have found that lots of children don't think about the amazing things their bodies can do. Instead, they focus on how their body looks, and this can sometimes make them feel sad and frustrated. We're going to mention a few studies. A study is when a group of people, maybe scientists or researchers, try and find out facts about things. It's important for us to know these facts so that we can think about if we need to try and change anything or do anything differently. One recent study in Devon found that 13% of boys and 18% of girls in years 4 and 6 said they felt quite unhappy or very unhappy with how they look. And this was highest in year 6 girls at 22%.
For years 8 and 10, 19% of boys and 43% of girls said how they feel about their body and or their appearance often or always negatively impacts their mood. And this was highest in year 10 girls at 51%. That's a lot of young people that feel sad and unhappy because of worries about the way they look. So if that's something you've thought about, you're not alone. There are also plenty of young people who do feel confident with the way they look. So if that's you, that's okay too. We hope this workshop will be useful, however you feel about your body, because we're going to talk about things you can do to improve your own body confidence, but also to help others to feel better about their bodies too.
We now want to introduce you to an idea called the appearance ideal. The appearance ideal is the way society tells us is the ideal or best way for us to look at a certain point in time. By society, we mean all the different people and places that we get information and ideas from in the world around us. Like many things, the appearance ideal has changed a lot over time.
For example, in ancient Egypt, the ideal look for men was considered to be broad shoulders and a narrow waist. By the reign of King Henry VIII, it was popular for men to have large, shapely thighs and a slim upper body. In the 1960s, it was fashionable to have a long and lean body with no muscle tone. And by 1980s, bodybuilder physiques were in style, with huge arms and pecs and defined abs and waist. For women, in ancient Rome, it was about having wide hips and narrow shoulders. In the 16th century, a full figure, soft arms and legs, and cellulite was celebrated. In the 1940s to 50s, a cinched waist and large pointy breasts were popular, whereas by 1960s, the look was more based on ultra-slim arms and legs and no waist definition. So with all these changes in ideas about the ideal way to look, it's hard to keep up.
We're now going to do an activity. Can you think of any examples of what society tells us are the appearance ideals for boys and girls nowadays? What have you been led to believe is the best way to look? Have you ever been told that you should look a certain way? You might like to pause the video now to explore these in your small groups. After reflecting on this, you may have noticed that lots of people don't match appearance ideals, and they exclude lots of people. They're also often unrealistic. We wonder if the ideas you came up with about the perfect body now are different to the other ideals throughout history that we talked about earlier. Do you think they're likely to change again in the future? Because ideas about the perfect body image do change so much over time, it makes it impossible for us to meet that ideal. That can sometimes leave us feeling worried or sad about our body image.
Now that we've recognised some of the current appearance ideals, we want you to think about where these ideals came from. Where do we get messages about what the ideal or best way to look is? You can pause the video for a few minutes and have a conversation with your groups and your teacher about your ideas. We will then tell you what other young people said in a recent study, and you can see if that's the same or different to your ideas. If you pause the video, welcome back. We're now going to share some of the answers that other children and young people gave us about where they received messages about their ideal way to look, and see if you came up with some of the same ones. This slide shows us how many young people said things friends said had worried them.
This slide shows us that celebrities and TV shows can cause some young people to worry about their body image.
This slide shows us the reported impact social media has on children and young people.
Over half of young people report appearance-based bullying.
This slide shows us that things family members have said or done, including being teased about something, about their appearance, and hearing how family members talk about their own bodies, can impact children.
It's partly because of the findings from this study and the worries that young people shared about their body image that we were asked to make this video, and we're also making one for parents and teachers. Some of the things we're going to talk about later in the video suggest things you may be able to do to feel more confident and assertive, especially when the messages you hear about bodies are inaccurate and unhelpful. So why is it important that people feel confident about their body image? And why is it important to think about why some children and young people, and even adults, have a hard time recognising how amazing their bodies are and feel bad about their looks?
It is important because many people can experience worry or sadness that gets in the way of the things they want to do and would usually enjoy, like hanging out with friends or doing sport. This slide shows that 1 out of every 10 boys and 3 out of every 10 girls in year 8 and 10 said they avoided some activities because of the worries about how they would look or looked. This is important to know because when we stop doing the things that matter to us and that are good for our bodies, it often impacts on our mood, and this can make us feel kind of stuck. Now, imagine if you wanted to play football or catch or dance or do something like that, and you didn't because you were worried about the way you look when you were doing those things. You'd miss out on the fun, and you'd miss out on the chance to improve your skills. It could also mean that you might find it harder to concentrate in class or sleep, as you haven't used up any of that energy. When we do activities that we enjoy and that make us feel good, it improves our mood and our well-being. So for example, physical activity is not only good for keeping our body fit and healthy, it's also good for our mental health. There are lots of things that we can do to look after our bodies and our mental health, such as eating healthy and a balanced diet, spending time with other people, exercising, and doing things that we enjoy.
We're now going to think about things we can do if worries about how we look are stopping us from doing the things we love and enjoy. Some of these are things you can do to help others, even if you don't feel like you are affected by this. Now, we know that there are lots of ways we might get messages about the appearance ideal and how these messages might make people feel sad about the way they look. We have found out that this happens to quite a lot of people, so we want to think about how we can help people to feel more positive about their body image. We're going to share 4 different ways we can help ourselves and others. We're also going to practice some of these on the worksheets. So let's get started.
Questioning and fact-checking what we see in the media. The surveys said one of the places children and young people got messages about what people should look like was from social media and other media such as TV, radio, and maybe magazines and adverts. What we know is that most famous people or influencers don't just take one picture for social media or a magazine shoot and then post it straight away. Most people have had their hair and makeup done, they take lots of photos and videos and choose the best shots. They have special lighting and use flattering angles and then still edit the photos afterwards. Even in this video, we've got someone to shoot the video and we've got lights and the microphone to make it sound how we want it to sound. When clothes are put on models, they are often pinned to make them fit perfectly, and many images that we see in media have been airbrushed or adjusted using AI. Have a look at the images we've shared here and see if you can notice what might have gone into taking that photo and which things have been changed from the original image.
Often celebrities will pay someone to help them put together their social media output. When we watch telly or adverts, those people have also had hair, makeup and stylists, and perhaps even expensive skincare regimes or personal training programs. If you want to, you can find lots of information and videos online that show how much work people put in to make these images look perfect. So for those people to get the perfect image, it takes a lot of work and costs a lot of money and is still usually edited afterwards. All that money and time is spent on those pictures because in most cases, someone is making money from those. For example, we might see an advert for a skincare product advertised by an influencer on social media. Often, they'll use filters or makeup to help their skin appear more perfect, because this will help them to sell more products. The diet, wellness, beauty and fashion industries make huge amounts of money each year by telling us we should look a certain way and then selling us products that supposedly help us do that. This slide shows us how much money is made each year in some businesses that benefit from selling us an ideal image. To give us a bit of an idea of how much money these stats are talking about, the average person in the UK would need to save every single penny from their paycheck for 36,000 years to earn just £1 billion. On a smaller scale, we should also remember that our friends and family can also edit their own photos and videos or apply filters, so the photos we see of people we know may not even be realistic.
It is therefore important to ask ourselves some questions when we see pictures and videos on any kind of media, TV, be that print or social media. The questions we can ask ourselves are the messages or images we see realistic or true? Do they show us the whole picture or the whole story? Who's posting it and why are they doing that? Who makes money or benefits from it? Now, when we ask ourselves these sort of questions, it's called critical thinking. And it's a great skill to have. Because when we see something and ask ourselves these questions, we need to think, okay, can I trust it totally, a bit, or not at all? Okay, so can you think of a time when you have compared yourself to things you have seen on an advert, a TV, or social media? Think about those questions on the screen and then think about the image or video again. How might critical thinking have helped you think differently about that? And help us answer the question, how much can I trust these images?
Another thing we can do is notice and challenge some of the messages or stories that we tell ourselves. Our thoughts can be powerful. For example, Often we might have negative thoughts about ourselves, but we can check these by asking if this thought is a fact or an opinion and what the evidence is for it. We can use a technique called think like a judge to put our thoughts on trial and to help us consider the other side of our thoughts. We can check in with ourselves about whether we would say these things to a friend. If not, why would we say them to ourselves? We can also ask ourselves if we're discounting the positives and only focusing on the negatives. If so, what are the positives that we could focus on as well?
The good news is that people who do things which help them develop and strengthen their self-esteem can learn to recognise what they're good at, and this helps them to feel less worried or sad about their body image. This means that we can help ourselves and others by building up our self-esteem. By self-esteem, we mean the opinion and feeling of worth that we have about ourselves. Developing our self-esteem can help improve our relationships, our mental health, and our self-belief. We've shared some activity ideas with your teacher for you to give this a try in a minute. Whilst you're trying these activities, remember, we can all achieve lots of things, but may not be confident in everything. That's okay. This is about thinking about what we can do. And this is true in terms of our brains and our bodies. Some people are great at believing they're valuable people and they deserve good things to happen to them. Other people might have to put more effort in. We can't all have the same level of skills in all areas. Someone who is excellent at maths may not be as confident in acting. Somebody who speaks 2 languages may be very afraid to scale a climbing wall. But we all have skills and qualities that make us unique and that can help us to feel confident. Think about the aliens we designed at the beginning. They had special skills or superpowers, but might not look perfect. Some people will have thought some skills and powers are better than others. We're all different, and that's okay.
The first activity is to think about someone who is special to you. What do you love about that person and what makes them special to you? You can share your answers with your class or people in your group if you'd like to. The second activity is to finish the sentence starters in your workbook. You may like to share some of your thoughts with your teacher before you turn the video back on. You can pause the video now. When we thought about the people we love, I wonder how many of you said something like, that person is special to me because they have the perfect hair, or the perfect teeth, or their teeth are bright white. When we thought about people who are special to us, we noticed it had nothing to do with their looks, but instead it was about how they made us feel, what we enjoyed doing with them, like they gave the best hugs, or they make us feel safe, or they help us to feel brave or to have fun. We hope you have found the sentence starters useful. The sentence starters jog our memory to think of something positive from the past week. Some people find this easier to do than others, and that's okay. It can be a really positive thing to do this exercise every day or every week, so we can get into the habit of thinking about what positive things we've done. This is part of a poem that reminds us that what we do and who we are is more important than what we look like.
I hope you remember. You will be remembered for the way that you are, not for the way that you look.
Be kind to others and accept kindness. We're sure that most of us don't want to intentionally make someone else feel sad, but we might all do it by accident sometimes. Lots of us will say unkind things occasionally, and sometimes we may say something that someone thinks is unkind, even if we don't think it is. Our words matter, so it's important to think about how we use them. We'd like to share some of the findings from a recent study in Devon. This slide shows that lots of children reported being bullied because of the way they look. We can think about the words we use to talk about others and to others, as well as the words we use to talk to ourselves. How do these words make us feel? Let's practice with another exercise now. Working in pairs to give and then receive a compliment. We'd like you to think about giving a compliment that isn't related to somebody's appearance. Think of all the things that you shared in the previous exercise that were important to you about the person you cared about to help with ideas. Also, try to notice how you feel when somebody gives you a compliment. Sometimes we can be tempted to push it away, a bit like discounting the positives from earlier. So try to practice accepting the compliment by saying thank you and focusing on the positives.
Now that we've learned and practiced some of the ways that we can feel more confident in our bodies, we invite you to think about how you can take what you've learned from this video and use it to help yourself and others feel better about their bodies and themselves. It can be helpful to set ourselves a goal. Spend a few minutes thinking about what's one thing you could do over the next few weeks to help yourself and others. Write this goal down, and you can check in with your teacher next week to see how it went. Here are some examples of goals.
Okay, so we've talked about some tricky topics. So something that can help if you're feeling stressed or worried about anything is a grounding or mindfulness exercise. And that's what's coming up. So if you'd like to join us, we'll do one now just to finish off the session.
This 3-step breathing space is a brief mindfulness practice designed to help you reconnect with the present moment, especially when feeling overwhelmed or distressed. It involves 3 stages: awareness of experience, focus on the breath, and expansion of awareness. This practice can be done anywhere, anytime, and with eyes open or closed. We would like to invite you now to either close your eyes or lower your gaze so you don't get distracted. Take a moment to notice what's happening to your mind and body. Try to do this without judgment, without trying to change anything. Acknowledge any thoughts, feelings, or physical sensations that are present. You can label these experiences to create some distance from them. For example, thinking, feeling anxious, tension in my shoulders. Gently shift your attention to your breath. Notice the physical sensations of breathing, such as the rise and fall of your abdomen or the air moving in and out of your nostrils. If your mind wanders, gently redirect the attention back to your breath. Now, broaden your awareness to include the whole body, posture, and facial expression. Notice the sensations of your body sitting or standing, including any pressure or temperature changes. Finally, expand your awareness to include the surrounding environment, the sounds you can hear, the space around you. We hope you found this helpful. The 3-step breathing space can be used as a pit stop throughout the day, allowing you to pause, reconnect with yourself, and return to your activities with greater presence and clarity.
We cannot use clips as part of the workshop due to copyright, but there are some fantastic resources out there that further explore the topics of body image, appearance ideal, and how to support young people with this. Thank you so much for listening and joining in with this video. We hope you found it helpful at your school.